You know, behind every screen you look at, every single click, every video you stream, there's a huge physical world chugging away, using up energy and resources. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain and really look at the hidden environmental cost of our digital lives.
So let me just ask you this. When you save a photo to the cloud, where does it actually go? What does it take to keep that picture there, safe and sound, forever? Well, the answer has a much bigger footprint on our planet than you'd probably guess.
All right, to get a handle on that footprint, we've got to start with the actual physical thing, right there in your hands or maybe sitting in your pocket. Let's dig into the secret life of your device.
Okay, first things first, we have to talk about something called e-waste. It's pretty much what it sounds like. Any phone, laptop, TV, you name it, that gets thrown away. And because we're all upgrading our gadgets so fast these days, it's become the single fastest growing pile of trash on Earth. And, this isn't like your average garbage. When this stuff ends up in a landfill, these really nasty, toxic materials like lead and mercury can literally poison the soil and the water. Exposure to this stuff has been linked to some truly serious health problems. We're talking everything from kidney disease to cancer. And if that's not bad enough, we're also just throwing away incredibly valuable materials that we can't get back.
But here's where the story gets really interesting. We're not just throwing away toxic junk, we're actually throwing away treasure. Your old phone, that busted laptop, it's quite literally a gold mine.
And the amount of treasure we're talking about is, well, it's just staggering. Get this. A single metric ton of old circuit boards can have anywhere from 40 to 800 times more gold than a metric ton of ore that's been dug out of a mine. It's wild, right? We're tearing up the earth for new materials when there's a much richer source just sitting in all our junk drawers.
So what's the right move when you're done with the device? Just remember the 3 Ds. First, if it still works, please donate or resell it. The absolute best thing is to just keep it in use. Second, back up your data. You don't want to lose all those photos and files. And third, and this one is so important, destroy your data. Do a full factory reset. That way you're protecting your privacy before it goes anywhere else.
Okay, so that's the device itself. Now let's go from the thing you hold in your hand to that invisible world that makes it all work, the cloud. And spoiler alert, it is not some fluffy white thing up in the sky. It has a very real and very large footprint right here on the ground.
Every little thing you do online, sending an email, searching for something, storing a file, all of it runs on a real physical server. And these servers live inside these enormous buildings called data centers that are humming along 24/7, and they use just an astonishing amount of electricity to do it.
Now, to try and fix this, the whole industry is moving towards what they call green data centers. These places are powered by renewables like solar and wind, and they have all these clever ways to stay cool. Some are even built in super cold places like the Arctic Circle, just so they can use the outside air for free cooling. And the way they measure all this efficiency is with one key number, PUE, which stands for Power Usage Effectiveness. So here's a super simple way to think about PUE. An old, inefficient data center might have a PUE of 2.0. That means for every 1 watt of power the computers use, another full watt is totally wasted just on things like air conditioning. It's basically only 50% efficient. But a modern green data center, it can get that number down to 1.2 or even less, which means they've cut their energy waste by over 80%. That's a huge difference.
And this drive for efficiency? It's not just some small project. The biggest companies on the planet are basically in an arms race to clean up their act, and it's kicking off a green revolution in big tech. And what's interesting is they're all tackling it a little differently. Apple's big goal is to make its entire supply chain carbon neutral. Google's really pushing for what it calls 24/7 carbon-free energy, trying to run on clean power every single hour of the day. And then you got Microsoft with maybe the most ambitious goal of all, to actually be carbon negative by 2030. That means they plan to remove more carbon from the air than they put into it. But, and this is a huge but, they're all running into the exact same problem, their own incredible growth. I mean, the explosion in AI and cloud services is forcing them to build new data centers at a pace we've never seen before. So for some of them, even as they're making everything more efficient, their total carbon footprint is actually going up. It's a tough spot to be in. So what's coming next? Well, here's where things get kind of sci-fi. One of the coolest ideas out there is biodegradable electronics. Just imagine a medical implant that, say, helps a bone heal for a few weeks and then just safely dissolves inside your body.
No surgery to take it out. Or think about tiny environmental sensors that you could scatter in a forest, and after their job is done, they just decompose back into the soil. This could be a total game changer for getting rid of e-waste altogether.
Look, all this huge systemic change is absolutely critical, but that doesn't mean you're just sitting on the sidelines. The truth is, your daily habits can make a real, measurable difference. So let's talk about your digital action plan.
First, let's give this problem a name: digital pollution. It's that hidden energy footprint from everything you do online. Every single file you keep, every video you stream, it all adds up and demands real energy from the real world. But here's the good news: you can actually do something about it. I want you to think of it like spring cleaning, but for your digital stuff. Go through your email, go through your cloud storage, delete those thousands of old messages and files you don't need. Unsubscribe from all those newsletters you never ever read. See, every single file being stored takes up a little bit of energy, constantly. So by cleaning up that digital clutter, you cut down on that energy drain. The big habit to learn is to just stop saving everything by default.
And now for the big one, streaming video. This is one of the most power-hungry things we do online. But you can make a huge dent with just a few tiny changes. Turn off autoplay on sites like YouTube and Netflix. And if you're just watching casually on your phone, drop the video quality from 4K down to 720p. You probably won't even notice the difference in quality, but it saves a massive amount of data and energy. And hey, if you know you're going to watch something over and over, just download it once.
So when it all comes down to it, the takeaway is pretty simple. The cloud, the internet, your entire digital world, it isn't just floating in space. It's a real physical thing with very real consequences for our environment. And every single action you take, from recycling an old phone to deleting an old email, helps shape what that impact looks like. So the only real question left is, how are you going to shape it?